Welcome back, friends, to another fascinating episode of Untold Truths. Today, we embark on a journey through the pages of the Bible to uncover the mysterious lives of three extraordinary individuals, Methuselah, Enoch, and Noah. Have you ever wondered why God waited for Methuselah? What secrets lie behind Enoch's close relationship with the Almighty? And why did Noah find favor in God's eyes? Join me as we dive deep into the scriptures to unravel these untold truths. Let's begin. Let's start our exploration with Methuselah, the man who lived the longest recorded lifespan in human history, 969 years. Can you imagine that? Just imagine the incredible things he must have witnessed, experienced, and learned during his 969 years on earth. Methuselah, mentioned in the Bible, holds a significant place in biblical history. He was the son of Enoch and the grandfather of Noah. Methuselah's name actually has a significant meaning. In Hebrew, it means, "His death shall bring judgment." This name holds great symbolism in relation to the events surrounding his life. According to Genesis chapter 5, verse 27, Methuselah lived for 969 years, making him the longest-lived human recorded in the Bible. The scriptures state, "And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died." This extraordinary lifespan has captured the curiosity of many. There are many hidden aspects of Methuselah's life that often go unnoticed. One of these is his lineage. Methuselah occupies a special place within the intricate family tree described in the early chapters of Genesis. Born into a line of individuals known for their extraordinary longevity and encounters with the divine, his story serves as a bridge between humanity and God. During this era, people lived exceptionally long lives, often reaching hundreds of years. It was a different time when humanity was intimately connected to its origins, and the world was still young and vibrant. Adam and Eve, the first humans, had other sons and daughters after Cain and Abel. As their family grew, civilization itself began to take shape. The Bible tells us, after he became the father of Seth, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters, Genesis chapter 5, verse 4. As generations passed, each person had children and passed down knowledge about tending the land, caring for animals, and nurturing a relationship with God. It is within this early generation that we encounter Methuselah's father, a man named Enoch. Unlike many others of his time who strayed from the path of virtue, Enoch had a unique and profound relationship with God. He was a prophet and a man so righteous that he did not experience death. Enoch lived for 365 years, and during that time he walked closely with God and had sons and daughters. Genesis chapter 5, verses 21 to 24. The Bible emphasizes the closeness between Enoch and God, ultimately stating, "And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him." This verse highlights the exceptional bond between Enoch and God and indicates that Methuselah grew up in a righteous and God-centered family. Methuselah's lineage, rooted in the faithful and intimate relationship of his father Enoch, played a significant role in shaping his story. Methuselah was blessed with an extraordinarily long life, spanning close to 1,000 years. He held a significant role as the grandfather of another prominent figure in the Bible, Noah. In a world that was becoming increasingly morally corrupt, Methuselah's son, Lamech, had a son whom he named Noah. Genesis chapter 5, verses 28 to 29. Noah, as many are familiar with, was chosen by God to construct a massive ark, ensuring the survival of humanity during the Great Flood. To put it simply, Methuselah was the son of a man, Enoch, who had such a close relationship with God that he did not experience death in the usual manner. Methuselah, in turn, became the grandfather of the man assigned the monumental task of building an enormous boat to save animals and humans from the devastating flood. The story of this family goes beyond their longevity. It encompasses divine purpose and destiny. Methuselah lived during a time of widespread wickedness. His father, Enoch, warned the world of a cataclysmic event, as recorded in the New Testament by Jude chapter 14 to 15. Enoch, the seventh generation from Adam, prophesied about the coming judgment of God and his response to ungodliness and defiant acts committed by sinners. Enoch was 65 years old when he had a son, and God gave him a significant name for the child, which translated to, "When he dies, it will happen." In the Bible, names are not only descriptive but also carry authority and often reflect a person's role or represent prophecies. The name given to Methuselah was a unique and remarkable one, indicating that when he died, significant events would occur. It is noteworthy that the name Methuselah was not in English but in a Semitic language. Although the exact meaning of the name in Semitic is not explicitly mentioned in the Bible, it is associated with the idea that when Methuselah died, God's judgment would be executed. Due to God's patience, Methuselah lived longer than any other person on record. After living for 969 years, Methuselah passed away, and the following day, heavy rain and flooding began, the commencement of the Great Flood. Methuselah's grandson Noah, the great-grandson of Enoch, played a pivotal role in the subsequent events. Methuselah's fame extends beyond his extraordinary age. It encompasses the fascinating significance behind his name. The Bible, filled with symbolism and meaning, provides hints that connect Methuselah's life to a crucial event in human history. The timing of Methuselah's death holds great importance, revealing a profound intertwining of his name, destiny, and prophecy. This offers us a deeper understanding of the intricate design of biblical narratives, where even the smallest details, such as a name, hold profound significance. Contrary to a common misconception, Methuselah did not perish in the flood. He was raised by his holy parent, Enoch, who had a close relationship with God. As we know, Noah and his 3 sons spent 120 years constructing an enormous ark according to God's instructions. Noah had heard Enoch's preaching about the impending judgment and understood that Methuselah's name suggested that the sentence would be executed shortly after the patriarch's death. The long life of Methuselah conveys a powerful message about the mercy of God. It highlights God's abundant mercy, which contrasts with humanity's inclination toward sinfulness. God, being rich in mercy, devised a plan to save and redeem even the most wicked individuals. Mercy involves showing compassion and forgiveness to those who deserve punishment or harm. It is pardon that is undeserved. God's mercy finds its ultimate expression in the great sacrifice of Christ on our behalf. While humans can only exhibit limited mercy toward one another, God's forgiveness for our grievous offenses demonstrates that his mercy knows no bounds. He is not merely merciful, but rich in mercy. A God rich in mercy reveals his immeasurable love for us through this act of grace. During the time of Methuselah, both his father Enoch and his grandson Noah warned the people about the impending fate of the world. However, everyone dismissed their warnings and scoffed at the idea. This theme of disbelief was significant during Methuselah's era, and it continues to be relevant in our time as we consider the flood during Methuselah's era and the future event of the second coming, symbolized by fire. 2 passages in the Bible specifically mention that in the last days there will be scoffers. In 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 3 and Jude chapter 1 verse 18, it is explained what this means. Let's look at 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 4 from the Amplified Bible. Above all, understand that in the last days mockers will come, following after their own human desires and saying, "Where is the promise of his coming? For ever since the fathers fell asleep in death, all things have continued exactly as they did from the beginning of creation." As Christians, we should not be surprised to encounter those who ridicule the belief in Jesus' future return. Peter has already informed us that there will be people who mock us. This is an important thing to be aware of. Just as skeptics doubted Noah, Methuselah's grandson, who spent 120 years building the ark, skeptics today have the mindset that Christians have been talking about Jesus' second coming for the past 2,000 years, yet he has not returned. The narrative spread by these mockers is based on the assumption that things have always been as they are now, and that God has not done and will not do anything new in his plan for creation. They fail to realize that the heavens and the earth were created by the word of God long ago. They also overlook the fact that the world was once destroyed by a great flood which involved water both forming and inundating the earth. But according to his promise, we are waiting for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. Therefore, beloved, since you are waiting for these, be diligent to be found by him without spot or blemish, and at peace. 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 14. When God first created the earth, it looked different than it does now. And after the flood, it had another different appearance. So we should not take lightly God's promise that he will transform it once again, not with water this time, but with fire as a means of judgment. The same powerful word of God that brought everything into existence and judged the world with a flood will one day bring judgment upon the earth through fire. The flood taught us an important lesson. This is a moral universe, and sin cannot go unpunished forever. Jesus himself referred to the flood to highlight this moral truth, but some people chose to ignore it. What may seem like an eternity to us is only a brief moment for God, just as an hour may feel like forever to a child but passes quickly for an adult. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise. He is merciful. However, we should understand that God will indeed fulfill his promise, and he will do it in his perfect timing. Any perceived delay from our human perspective is due to God's long-suffering nature, as he desires to give people ample time to repent. We should be grateful for this mercy, just as Methuselah's long life demonstrated God's patience. Many Christians today are relieved that Jesus did not return 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even just recently. But there is a merciful reason behind God's chosen timing. Peter revealed a glimpse of God's compassionate heart in this matter, echoing the sentiment expressed in Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 11. God takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but desires that they turn from their evil ways and live. Similar to Methuselah's longevity, the Lord's enduring love for the lost may create the impression of a delay in his arrival. However, the truth remains that he will come at some point in the future. Therefore, let us eagerly await the new heavens and new earth, living diligently and striving to be found blameless and at peace when he returns. When Jesus returns, it will happen unexpectedly, like a thief in the night, catching many people by surprise. His coming will bring about a complete transformation of the world, where the heavens will pass away with a loud noise and the elements will melt with intense heat. During the time of Noah and Methuselah, scoffers were prevalent. Their disbelief and mockery left God with no choice but to bring destruction upon them and start anew with Noah, the only righteous man on earth. This can be found in Genesis chapter 6 verses 5 to 8, where it is described how the wickedness of mankind had reached a great extent, and God was grieved by the continuous evil in their hearts. As a result, he decided to wipe out humanity and all living creatures, except for Noah, who had found favor in God's eyes. In our present world, we can already observe an increase in scoffers. There are several factors contributing to this rise, including the growing number of skeptics and the abandonment of biblical values in modern society. The loss of a moral compass has blurred the lines between right and wrong, truth and lies. In such an environment, anyone who claims to know the truth becomes a target for scoffers. During Methuselah's time, the world underwent significant changes. As depicted in the Bible, the earth experienced not only physical transformations, but also a shift in the hearts of its inhabitants. Humanity, once created in innocence, had taken a dark path towards wickedness and rebellion. Genesis 6:5 describes how God observed the great wickedness and continuous evil in people's hearts. It seemed as though humanity had lost its way, moving further away from the divine and closer to chaos. In a world filled with increasing turmoil and darkness, there was one man named Noah who stood apart. He was the grandson of Methuselah and the son of Lamech. While everyone else around him was engaging in wrongdoing, Noah remained steadfast in his righteousness. Recognizing Noah's faithfulness, God revealed his plan to him. He shared that a great flood would come to cleanse the earth of its wickedness and provide a fresh start. In his kindness and mercy, God provided a way of escape for Noah and his family. He instructed Noah to build a massive ark, which would serve as a refuge, ensuring their safety during the impending deluge. Genesis chapter 6 verse 18 captures God's covenant with Noah, promising him protection and instructing him to enter the ark along with his family. As the world continued on its destructive path, ignorant of the impending cataclysm, Noah diligently prepared for the promised storm. It is worth noting that as the pre-flood era drew to a close, so did the long lifespan of Methuselah, symbolizing the end of an era before the waters would rise and cover the land. The early chapters of Genesis, particularly Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 5, paint a vivid picture of the world before the flood. It was a place marred by sin, violence, and moral decay. Imagine a society where people were consumed by their own desires, pursuing their own interests at any cost, disregarding the well-being of others. Values such as honesty, integrity, and kindness were not cherished or understood. Deceit and manipulation reigned as individuals sought to fulfill their selfish desires. The very fabric of society was torn apart, with families becoming battlegrounds of deceit and betrayal instead of sanctuaries of love and support. Neighbors no longer looked out for one another, but rather sought to exploit each other. Governments, far from upholding justice, became systems of oppression, maintaining the dominance of the powerful over the weak. As we conclude our exploration of Methuselah, Enoch, and Noah, we see that their lives were intertwined with divine purposes. Methuselah's long life served as a warning of impending judgment. Enoch's intimate relationship with God led to his miraculous translation, and Noah's righteousness secured the salvation of his family and numerous animals. These stories remind us of the importance of faith, obedience, and walking closely with our Creator. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey through the untold truths about Methuselah, Enoch, and Noah. Remember, the Bible holds countless stories waiting to be discovered, and it is through these stories that we can gain wisdom and insight into God's plan for humanity. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content. Until next time, may you walk faithfully and find favor in the eyes of God. God bless you all.